Insomnium is one of our favorite melodic death metal bands, and they've got Anno 1696 releasing today.
We're going to talk about their full discography front to back. Stick around and wait to the end for the new one.
For our criteria, we usually do 2 album picks in S, 2 in A, and then everything else is whatever.
In the halls of awaiting 2002, what I love about this debut, bro, is how confident this band is in their sound. It's something about Finnish melodic death metal that's just so sorrowful. It's drenched in melancholy and the lust for the primordial. The production isn't quite there yet, but for the band to showcase all their tropes in one record is just really impressive. Some of my standout songs are Black Waters, The Elder, and In the Halls of Awaiting.
Yeah, this is quintessential early 2000s melodic death metal. If you're looking for a history lesson in that sound, this is one of the records. It's a great debut, but I rarely revisit it. You can definitely see the early tropes that they started developing in the band on this album. Great album, but like I said, I don't really visit it that much. Love Ill-Starred Sun, The Elder, and Black Waters. Put this in C, although it's a good album.
Yeah, no, I also have it at C. C list is usually something where we'd probably like pull some songs out for a playlist or whatever.
Since the day it all came down in 2004, this was a serious upgrade to the production in this band, and it honestly blew my mind when it came out. I couldn't believe the step up. A little bit on the longer side, but man, are the songs great. Songs like Nocturne, The Day It All Came Down, Daughter of the Moon, and Bereavement. All awesome. I gave this a B tier.
All right. Well, this is probably my most listened to record from this band. I heard this album when it came out and it fucking blew me away, dude. They knocked all their songwriting, musicianship, and overall cohesion out of the park for this one. You said it's long. I think it's very, very well paced with its variety of instrumentation. You've got classical sounding acoustic guitars and folk driven stuff. Lots of different atmospheres that really help carry you along. That 11-track, 54-minute runtime. I love this, dude. This is my S tier. I love the title track, The Day It All Came Down. The Moment of Reckoning and Bereavement, one of my favorites. So yeah, that's good. This is gonna go in my S.
All right.
This album was monstrous at the time of its release, being the first album from these guys to hit the Finnish music charts. Congratulations. The band really starts to showcase some more of those Opeth kind of vibes, throwing in some alterations in their syncopation and timing. Lots of cool progressive vibes on this one. Another longer album, 9 tracks at 53 minutes. The pacing does feel a little bit weaker than the previous album with less instrumental variations. Standout songs for me, Drawn to Black, Change of Heart, At the Gates of Sleep. These are all great songs. I actually put like 2 more on here because I really like this album.
This band, I don't think has ever put out even a subpar record.
No, dude.
They're very solid. And Above the Weeping World, I think, is a little bit more heartfelt and somber compared to the 2004 release. Inserting some more, like you said, progressive instrumentation, a lot like, you know, their counterparts, Opeth, especially at the time. Some of the best songs that they've ever written are on Above the Weeping World, but there are some filler tunes in my opinion. I love Mortal Share, Drawn to Black, and The Killjoy. Those I put this one in B tier.
Yeah, I have it at B+. Yeah,
right,
so let's start at B.
We'll do a little B.
A little bit of B.
Little Justin Bieber. Across the Dark, released in 2009. This is awesome production, and it's kind of wild how much this band continues to ratchet up how good the albums sound. But my only ding on this record is I feel like the vocals are pretty quiet. This is where Insomnium, though, found their audience and their footing and started really getting their fan base. Gorgeous compositions, and their first album of theirs that I honestly revisit from front to back. They're not afraid here to let those long passages develop and let you just feel it. Standout songs, I love Equivalence, Down with the Sun, Where the Last Wave Broke, and The Lay of Autumn. I gave this one a B tier.
Yeah, dude, the production, first thing that I noticed, it's really starting to sound a lot more dialed in. This is a 2009 album. It sounds very modern for that time, and it sounds modern in a good way. It sounds very timeless. Now that the band, you know, they've probably got a little bit of a bigger budget. They're starting to make a name for themselves. You can hear it in the talent, in the equipment. Looking back at this, I feel like this is the band's first attempt at like a Winter's Gate sort of thing. There's lots of consolidated musical sections with the tracks flowing into one another, so it sounds like they were kind of trying to do one of those things. It's also the shortest of the Insomnium albums up to this point, 8 tracks, around 46 minutes. I also love Where the Last Wave Broke, The Harrowing Years, Weighed Down with Sorrow, all great tracks. This is another solid album from these guys. I have it at B.
Hell yeah. So far, we're dead on with.
Yeah, man. And like you said too, man, like anything in C, like from this band is worth listening to.
Yeah.
Like if you've never heard this band, the C albums, don't shy away from them. They're not worth skipping. One for Sorrow in 2011, probably my second most listened to record from these guys. The post-rock influences were really starting to saturate a lot of metal bands from this time. So to hear them pull some pages from bands like Explosions in the Sky or Red Sparrows is really cool with some of those like reverb guitar parts and echoing and stuff like that. It's nice. It's another elevation in production for this band, which is fucking crazy to think that they just keep stepping it up. A bit of a change in the guitar and the drum tones. They introduced clean vocals in this record. Dude, this is an overlooked hit. It's a sleeper classic. Through the Shadows, Only One Who Waits, and Every Hour Wounds. Awesome tracks, dude. I really like this record.
Yeah, me too. One for Sorrow is one of my favorite albums by them, and the intro of this record might be my favorite intro of all of their records. It's so delicate. It's got those like delay drenched melodies in the post-rock sound, like you said, which just has me hooked personally. Melodic death metal and the post-rock sounds together are just pure magic for me. And this is where this album particularly hooks us. This was where I really started to fall in love with the band, but it's not quite my pinnacle album. I put this an A.
Yeah, I have it at A+.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy! Shadows of a Dying Sun, released in 2014. This album is very important to me because 2014 was a tough year, and this album got me through it, man. Everyone's got those albums. You gotta admit it.
For sure.
The album has gorgeous production, absolutely stellar compositions, and front-to-back enjoyability that makes this record top-tier Insomnium for me. You've got jam-out long sections where there's just, you know, instrumental parts that just sound awesome, repeating stunning melodies that get stuck in your head. This album is my favorite. It's my S tier. Standout songs: Primeval Dark, While We Sleep, Lose Tonight, and then Ephemeral.
Big budget Insomnium is what I call this, man. You can tell that they're getting access to the highest levels of production, the highest levels of marketing. And what does this do to their songwriting? Not much. They continue to deliver killer, heartfelt, passionate songs about the human condition in pandering to liberals. Just kidding. I don't like this album front to back as much as the other ones. I would absolutely pull some songs for a playlist here. While We Sleep, Blackheart Rebellion, and Ephemeral is a very very unique song by them. It's like a rock inspired kind of thing. You don't really hear that from them. Please put it at S tier. I have it at C, unfortunately.
Oh boy.
Sorry for that. But yeah, so I've been executed. But yeah, put it at S, dude. Dude, I'm not even gonna be like, oh, that's a dumb album, because there aren't any dumb albums from this band, dude.
There really aren't. Winter's Gate.
Another monumental release in terms of reception. This album hit #1 in the Finnish charts and was recognized globally on other music charts. When you consolidate multiple pieces of music into one long epic track, as they did here, the intent is obviously for the listener to hear it in one sitting without turning it off. There's no skippable parts here. I think that they did a really great job delivering that. The song kind of loses some wind about 2/3 of the way through. It finishes off strong though. A nice thing to hear. Low replayability levels though. Standout songs, Winter's Gate. I put it at C just because I think that there's low replayability, but I think it's a really good track.
This is a good album, but you know, I would say after Shadows of a Dying Sun, I had a hard time connecting with it. And I don't know if that's their fault or mine, but I was a little bit let down with this album. It's a cool idea to do one long song. I like how on Spotify, they just broke it up into parts, but because it's broken up into parts and there's no song titles, I have a very hard time just like connecting with it like I did with the other records. So I didn't really latch onto this one as much. The production rules though, and I do revisit it sometimes, but it's not one I reach for a lot. I put this in B, but I would go down to C.
Okay, well let's take a look at the list here and see. So Winter's Gate is
it's better than their debut.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely sound more dialed in than the debut. So would you put it at the end of B?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's do that.
I think that makes sense because there's some impressive songwriting on the record.
Absolutely.
So
I didn't realize Spotify had it broken up too. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like part 1 through 8.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Heart Like a Grave, released in 2019. This felt like a natural progression for the band, and you can tell that they've dialed in who they are at the core on Heart Like a Grave. I remember hearing this when we started this channel, and it reminded me of how I felt when Shadows of the Dying Sun came out. Gorgeous melodies, emotional atmosphere, captivating moods from start to finish. Just a really great album. This is my A tier. Standout songs, Wail of the North, Pale Morning Star, and Heart Like a Grave.
Hell yeah, dude. What a return to form for these guys. I had to shuffle some rankings around to make sure that this album got the score that it deserves, because I absolutely also believe that it belongs in A. 2019 was the year that I stopped spinning the same records over and over again from my teenage years. We got this channel started. I was like, you know what? I want to start diving into new stuff. This one dropped on our laps and I was fucking blown away, dude, just like you. This was the record that I was kind of hoping for would follow up One for Sorrow. I knew they had it in them. Songs like Valediction, the title track, Heart Like a Grave, and Twilight Trails are amazing. A.
This ranking's really easy.
Yeah. We both struggled like individually to put them where we thought they belong, but
so far this makes a ton of sense to me.
No,
so
yeah.
All right.
The new one, Anno 1696, 2023, not 1696, it is not that old. This is a powerful record from the band, leaning strongly into the storytelling and folklore to honor their native homeland. I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but the album cover is highly reminiscent of Across the Dark, with the silhouette of the person as the focal point. It's cool. All the Insomnium tropes, they're here in spades, man. Folk-inspired melodies, soaring leads that carry the motifs, fantastic singing in all registers and styles, cleans and growls and barks and everything here. I need to sit with this one a little bit more. The first impressions, however, I had were nice. Another good Insomnium record. I feel like following up a masterpiece that is Heart Like a Grave is fucking tough, though. A couple of standout songs for me are White Christ and The Rapids.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is actually a really good album, but I am not sure if it contends with Heart Like a Grave. It is not a letdown, though. The production is fantastic. I love the drum tone and the guitars sound massive. The band did a really great job with the compositions, leaning into heavily in memorable guitar melodies and leads throughout every single song on this record. If you're a fan of Insomnium, you will absolutely enjoy this record. And the only real rating that I think we have for you is the solid band is still solid.
Yeah.
It's not as great, like we said, as Heart Like a Grave or Shadows of a Dying Sun, and even though he didn't really like that one, but it is still very, very, very good. Standout songs, Starless Paths, The Witch Hunter, and The Rapids. I have this in B tier. It's great.
Yeah, I have it at B-. I think it's, like you said, it's a great one. There's nothing to say that this is, going to be a monumental record in their catalog, but that all looks good.
I wouldn't change that at all. I think that's our ranking, man.
Yeah, man, that's fantastic.
That's it. Let us know your rankings down in the comments for Insomnium Records. We've been ranking a bunch of great metal records this year. Check out this tier list here for more.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. Make sure that your heart is like a grave.